Welcome back. This is Unrendered. My guests are Colin Williams and Senator Linton Lewis. I'm Tony Regisford, and we departed on a point from which we're going to pick up. Was the arrest or the rearrest of Vinette Frederick legal or illegal? So, gentlemen, when we went out in the break, I think the DPP was trying to force a point from you, Senator, as the President of the Bar Association.
I was trying to force a point from him.
Yes. You wanted to know what you said it was wrong, and he wanted you to state categorically whether the arrest, I call it the rearrest, of Senator Frederick was legal or illegal. Because in the newspaper here, in the newspaper, the Bar Association is saying that it was illegal. So we want to hear from the President of the Bar Association.
Now,
categorically.
Now the issue is this. Firstly, the DPP repeated in different words what I said, so I could not have all been wrong. Now, the difference is that the DPP is saying that the arrest was not unlawful. And you want to get from me whether or not...
You agree with that? Do you agree
I agree with that?
Okay.
It is an arguable point, because it is an arguable point because I suppose that we're dealing with charges that can be tried either way, either summarily or indictably.
But I'm repeating again that one of the charges is only indictable and cannot be tried summarily.
Yes, but
we must bear that in mind.
But that's one of these charges, just for the
three charges relating to fabrication of evidence, as opposed to the
that's
false
strictly an indictable charge.
That is strictly indictable.
There's no option of charging summarily, the summary route, or the indictable route.
But
it's not hybrid.
It's not hybrid.
Yeah, which even makes the whole issue of concern, because I know it's a matter of opinion, but you arrest before you charge. So if you know already what the charges are likely to be, and if you already had written up the charges, then I think that there's a suggestion that it could have been done or dealt with by way of summons. And then therefore you would have this whole facade. Insofar as the unlawfulness of the arrest is concerned, as I said in the radio program on Wednesday, that there are some gray areas, and as I said yesterday as well, the matter is to be determined in the court whether or not it is unlawful. I don't really want to go through in any major way at this time any arguments about whether or not that was unlawful, because the matter is still before the court.
But you are president of an association that made a definitive statement, which I have indicated is a political statement from the Bar Association. The Bar Association, which has been extremely politicized, right, have come out and said expressly, no ifs, no buts, no maybe. They have stated expressly that it was of that nature.
It's rather interesting that you use the term politicized.
Yes.
Because you have to remember that with respect to your appointment as DPP, there were so many allegations about it being based on politics. Firstly, because you were senator.
Yes, and that was rehashed.
Secondly, because you were a member of the Gonzalez Chambers.
And you became president of the Bar Association at the first meeting that you attended.
Hold on.
Let's say Dr. Lewis.
The mere fact that the bar has made a statement on the arrest or the manner in which Vinette Frederick was arrested, I can't see how and why you will be so definitive about it being politics or politicized.
Let me explain why I say so.
Why are you saying it's political?
Yes.
Because I can't
First of all, the Bar Association...
I'm seeing Dr. Lewis's line of thinking.
Right.
But so how could you jump from that to this being, bar being political?
Okay. First of all, the Bar Association has... This is the first statement the Bar Association under his leadership has made. They have never made a single statement when it comes to anything with regard to Vincentians, with regard to the laws of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, with regard to anything that has happened to anybody. The Bar has been silent.
But the president is
They have never issued a press release.
That is incorrect.
Okay,
Right?
The president.
This is the first
press
time
release.
that the Bar Association has ever under.
So you think it is opportune?
No, but I'm saying I've made no.
they
wait,
have-
wait, no, hold on.
I'm outlining.
I have made no.
I'm outlining why I see this
I must stop you
political.
there. I have made quite a lot of pronouncements as president.
That is
As
your
president,
opinion.
Yes,
That
there we
is
are.
your opinion.
No,
As
I've done it. That's
president,
opinion.
yeah.
I have made
Mandated to do so by the bar.
I've made quite a lot of
Mandated
statements
to do
as
so by the bar.
president.
But
Yes.
mandated, but you never issued any releases.
Yes.
And this release
Yes,
was
that's correct.
the person behind it, the circulation of this release has not been the president, has not been the secretary, has not been the vice president, has been the daughter of the leader of the opposition, who has been the person
how do you come to that conclusion?
circulating, contacting the media houses and circulating that
You know
particular
that,
release.
do you know that as a fact?
I know that as a fact.
What is the fact that
The person who
contacted?
who circulated.
But
I am outlining.
What do you know as a fact that
Let us
the
not-
person,
let us-
no, I
I'm
want to
outlining-
clarify this.
Dr. Lewis.
Yes.
Yes. If you allow me, let me
Right.
ask the DPP the question.
Yes.
How do you know that as a fact? And what is the fact that you say?
I am associated with the media as much as Dr. Lewis is.
Yes.
I am connected with the media as well. So I would know where these releases come from. He knows that who the release come from.
I want to throw something in here. Now we're talking about, the matter being politicized. Senator Francis goes on radio and says, statements amounting to, if it were the NDP holding the reins of government, and Senator Francis, was charged, and the charges were dealt with that man, would the NDP have allowed him to just walk free? Something like that. I hope I'm not quoting the good senator wrong. However, when I saw that, and I didn't hear it myself, I saw it written somewhere, I was saying to myself, what does this have to do with the NDP, the ULP? I didn't think the judiciary was directed by government. And making a statement like that is almost admitting that, there seems to be a directive.
Yeah.
That's the impression I would gather. And so you certainly introduced.
No, I think that is the issue of how of the arrest. What he's talking about, if he talks about the arrest, that is not the judiciary. That is done by the police, which is the executive part of the executive, right? So the arrest would be done not by the judiciary. Right, the judiciary is the one who would try.
He said a party. He was talking about
I don't
party.
know.
He was talking about NDP administration. He was saying NDP. He was talking about party, which gives the impression the paramount of the party is important to the ULP. It was wrong for him to have made such a statement, giving the impression clearly that the ULP directs the court.
But it is wrong for the Bar Association to issue a statement that is erroneous and stating it as a fact and circulating it and sending it to persons all throughout. No, we haven't gone through it because you have not recanted fully and indicated that the statements that you have made.
We're dealing with Julian Francis' statement now.
I haven't heard it, so I can't.
We exhausted the issue of the bar. Now we're dealing with Julian Francis.
I can't deal with that. I don't know anything about it.
But I'm saying to you that the issue is this, is that when you in Parliament and a government senator and a general secretary of a party, and you make a statement which is clear and unequivocal with respect to the paramount of the party, stating that the party, implying that the ULP should ensure that the charges are continued against Vinnet, because he's saying if the charges are brought against him, NDP would have continue.
Well, I want to ask you, Dr.
So what is wrong if he wants to ensure that that is his opinion?
Is that the normal state of play? Is that
no? It's not supposed to be normal. It is normal. It can't be normal. It certainly is not normal by me. It is wrong. That statement is most unfortunate, and I believe that Julian Francis will be rethinking at this time about the statement. So will the Prime Minister at that time.
The NDP going to protest again? What is the essence of the protestation that is planned? What are the points here?
Well, essentially, the whole issue is one in which a lot of people are of the view that the manner in which Vinod Fredericks was humiliated would have stemmed from politics. Remember, it came from a statement made in an election campaign. One has also got to remember that the New Democratic Party's parliamentarians were treated in a certain way in the parliament. They were humiliated and embarrassed in the parliament by certain members of the police force. This was an extension in the minds of a number of persons of that sort of treatment.
And I see where it's going, but let's try to deal with the facts. You know, I'm reading the leader of the opposition here in the newspaper saying that it's enough. People's rights have been trampled on. He hasn't used those words, but given the impression that we have to protect our rights. Okay, today it's Vinod Frederick. You know, yesterday it was whoever. Tomorrow it could be you. I'm not saying he used those words, but this is what I'm gathering here. This is why it's important for people to come out because your rights are enshrined in the Constitution and they must be protected at all costs. Were the rights of Vinod Frederick infringed upon?
Well, that may be how it was seen by the leader of the opposition.
But it's a very specific question. It's a very specific question.
A number of persons.
Were the rights? No, I'm asking you as a legal practitioner, understanding the law, were the rights of Vinod Frederick trampled upon?
I would say that it came very close. When you're humiliating someone and you're trying to embarrass someone, and there was an alternative way of dealing with an issue which could have been dealt with in that way, and you actually went at that person not because of that person's status in society that is separate from politics, but mainly because of politics, then there's no equity, there's no fairness, and in that respect there's no justice. Even if sometimes you act in accordance with the law, once there is no fairness in the way the dispensation of justice is carried out, then in truth and in fact, people always talk about whether or not their rights are infringed. And in this case here, what a number of Vincentians have noticed is that the manner in which it was carried out, the circumstances surrounding how it was done, really gave the impression, the clear impression, that there must have been some attempt or intent to humiliate and embarrass.
So you're demonstrating against the humiliation of benefit?
No, there are a number of things. The number of things. It is not only that. There are a number of other issues that will be discussed at our meetings, and there are a number of issues that will be raised when we actually go to protest. It wouldn't just be about Vinod Frederick.
30 seconds from you, DPP. The opposition leader is sitting in the newspaper calling his supporters, and not just his supporters, calling people to come out and protect their rights through this form of protestation. Were the rights of anybody infringed here? Or, as Dr. Lewis is saying, whether it was exactly so or not, it seems as if the intent is there.
Yeah. The thing is that I got definitively from what Dr. Lewis's answer that he's saying that no rights were infringed. It is just a matter of humiliation, which is a situation then as to whether or not how people feel about themselves or the circumstances. I agreed with him up front that, look, there are different methods about, in which something could have been approached, but it doesn't make it illegal or unlawful or wrong. And no rights were trampled on in any event, right? But if you, certainly I agree that, yes, if you wanted, you could have proceeded by summons, you could have given notice and all these sets of things. But if that isn't done, that does not of it and of itself make anything illegal or wrong, or as the Bar Association improperly and incorrectly and inaccurately stated that it was illegal.
Gentlemen, I know you wanted to respond. Let me hold it there. When we come back for a final segment, we spend 2 minutes on Vinod Frederick, and then I want us to look at an event that took place with Dwayne Sandy, it was. I have you two gentlemen here. Certainly the DPP, I'd like to hear what happened there. So let me spend some time doing that. And of course, the Commissioner of Police has just taking pre-retirement leave, I think it was, or whatever. He's not coming back. Let's look at his performance in the last segment. The Director of Public Prosecutions, Colin Williams, and Dr. Linton Lewis, Senator, NDP Senator, and President of the Bar Association, are my guests on this edition of Unrendered. We'll have them in the final segment when we come back from the break.